Thank you, Mysterious Voice, and welcome back to this combination of the Bits of Lit and Around the Weird. I am your host, your co-host, Mr. Nothing, where I talk about all the strange and unusual literature, but today, of course, we are talking about movies. Today, we are talking about a movie that I mentioned last month. It is a movie about British colonialism and weird stunts and best friend related things. I am referring to RRR, Rise, Revolt, Revolution, although I don't think the RRR really stands for anything. And this was directed by S.S. Rajamouli, and also stars N.T. Rama Rao Jr., Ram Charan, who plays Rama in the movie, Ray Stevenson, who plays the governor, and Ajay Devin, who plays Rama's father in that movie. I forget what his actual name is, but yeah, those are your main players. There are, of course, other actors and actresses who make up this fine joint, but those are the main characters that we'll probably be discussing here. And of course, I am joined by my colleague, my academic partner, a great villain, Lucas from the Bits of Lit. How are you doing today, Lucas?
I am doing quite well. It is my weekend now, and I'm here to talk about a fantastic film with my mortal enemy.
Excellent. That's always good, and here I will destroy you in the future. But
I'm looking forward to it.
Just let you know a few things. RRR was released, I believe, last year. I can't find any reliable information about how much money it made, but it did make quite a bit of money, and it was nominated for an Oscar. For Best Picture as well as Best Original Song, which I believe that it won. So a big hit overall. And in terms of S.S. Rajamouli, he is a pretty sort of well-known director out there in Tollywood, because this is a Telugu film rather than a Bollywood film. Rajamouli is known for his bombastic sort of extravagant movies, which a lot of movies in at least the action movies in India are kind of bombastic. He's directed a movie about that's sort of from the perspective of a fly. He's also directed a couple of Indian epics, which along with RR, that's kind of like a large part of his sort of directorship there. RR is one of his more recent movies, and a lot of his movies have a part one, part two kind of feel to it, because again, they are grand sweeping epics that talk of India's history, like what you see here, or just the past of India with like a sort of a religious feel to it as well. Because sometimes the like Shiva or something like will pop up in one of his movies, and so infusing it with a little bit of Hinduism as well. As for the other actors, they're pretty well known in Indian society. It's very interesting that Ray Stevenson shows up in this. He's in the TV show Rome, which is pretty good. He was in The Punisher, as well as a number of other movies. Unfortunately, he died pretty recently. But it's always good to be able to talk about him, since he is such a great actor, and I do think he kind of shines in this movie for what they're using him for. Are you familiar with any of these other actors or this director, Lucas?
Nope. I knew Ray Stevenson because he was in Thor, I believe. And Thor Ragnarok, I think he was killed by Hela in that one. He was one of Thor's friends, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't know any of the actors. I didn't know any of the British actors except Ray Stevenson, who is Irish, I think.
Yeah. I believe that most of them are just kind of there, like bit players, and
Yeah.
the actress who plays Jenny is like mostly a side character in everything else she's done.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she got a chance to shine here, because she is quite fun to watch in this movie. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to talk about this movie a bit. Last month, I followed the usual around the weird kind of pattern of talking about the movie, but we're gonna change things up a little bit here. So we'll just talk about the summary and just go through the movie, and then after that, just talk about what we loved and what we thought could be improved, and yeah, we'll move on from there. So of course, RRR is a wonderful movie. In the first opening scene, something that I really like, that really gets me going for this movie, is the movie starts with the character of Rama, who is known in Indian sort of Indian history as one of the freedom fighters who fought against British imperialism. Of course, Rajamouli kind of takes a lot of liberties with these characters' stories. I don't believe that Bheem or Rama ever actually met. So that you're going to get like a little bit of history, but also a little bit of sort of embellishment here. But the movie kind of starts with Rama. You see him like standing before a rioting crowd who is rioting against British imperialism, but he is standing fierce, holding his ground. That is until somebody throws a rock and upsets one of the British commanders, and so they're like, whoever brings me that man is gonna might get promoted or something like that. And so that first scene is just Rama tracking down that man, running through the crowd, destroying like everything in the process,
Single-handedly putting down a riot.
right, getting his butt kicked, but like too angry to die, too angry to stand down from this fight. And he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna catch this person, and indeed he does. And everyone's kind of terrified of him, the people, because like when he turns back around, he just stands firm, and like everyone's like, whoa. And then like his own commander is scared of him too. Like it was it's a pretty solid introduction to this character. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh man, this traitor, this terrible kind of guy is gonna, come down on the guy who knocked over King George. Was it King George the Third? No, that's that's the which king was that? But he
That
knocked
was
down
the
the.
American Revolution, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I said that and I realized I'm an idiot. Well, the I guess peasant he threw the rock or whatever and knocked down the photograph or painting, I guess, of the King of England at the time, whose name I'm forgetting. Edward? No.
I'll put it up there.
Yeah, I know what he looks like, and I know that name, and I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, as soon as like Rama gets going, I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. This is the worst thing. I mean, I knew the movie was going to be good, but I was like upset already. And then he just tears down the house, and I was like, okay, he's kind of cool.
Mhm.
He's kind of amazing. He's this superhero legend, who I'm down to watch. I'm very excited to see. I immediately felt like he must be the bad guy in the film.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a big part of the movie is like you viewing Rama as the bad guy, and
Mhm.
it's like at the beginning of the movie I was thinking like, wow, an Indian man being used by the British to tear down other Indians. Like, I wonder if this movie is aware of its own like colonialism. And then like the rest of the movie happened. I'm like, oh yeah, it is definitely aware of its own of the colonialist nature of that action. And
Sure.
yeah, because like using like promoting a few Indians and telling them like, hey, we appreciate you, in order to get them to, inform and hurt their fellow Indians so that colonialism can continue to happen by the British. Like that was pretty much the entirety of the British experience in India.
Yeah. And I just want to say, and then he doesn't get promoted. And I was like, oh, he is going to get such revenge. If he did that to the peasants, I'm excited to see what he does to the British when he like can't handle not getting promoted anymore. But I just want to say, while I was watching it, I was completely distracted by how totally and utterly handsome Rama is. That is the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life. He's so good looking.
Yeah, like not only like Ram Charan, but N.T. Rama Rao Jr., who plays Bheem. Like they're both very good looking guys.
Yeah, he's really good looking too. I mean, I was like, what? They found the most handsome men in the world, and they just both happen to be Indian. In the same film industry in India. That's amazing.
The next scene is that is Mali, who is part of the Gond tribe, a group of people living in the forest of India. Mali is singing a beautiful song about how she is precious and a gift to the world, which is very very weird song to be singing, but like she's a wonderful singer. It's entrancing the entire community, especially Catherine, who is the governor's wife in this movie. She really likes being around Molly, and after Molly finishes her song, she gives money to Molly's parents, which they think is like, oh, this, thank you for the money. Like that we appreciate.
Yeah, I think they thought it was for the song and the henna and like, yeah, the royal treatment. But no, she's a royal bitch is what she is.
Yeah, they found the perfect actress for that role.
Yeah, she was so good.
Yeah.
I hated her so much.
Yeah, and like Catherine then takes Molly, and her parents are like, whoa, what are you doing? They just push them off to the side. And then like one of them when her parents try to stop the car from Molly like being taken away, like they're like, the soldiers are like, move, we're taking this girl. And again, like getting at the fact that the British viewed a lot of Indian people, their subservience as property. They like, a soldier gets ready to take his gun out to shoot the Molly's mom in the head, and Ray Stevenson shows up and is like, hey, do you know the value of that bullet? It was made by a British factory worker under full pay. Quite possibly my favorite line, which shows up throughout the movie.
He repeats it a couple times.
Yeah, it's like the cost of that bullet is too good for this Indian person. Again, the sheer racism right there, sheer prejudice in this
Ray Stevenson also knocked it out of the park. I was so excited to see him. I wanted to see the revenge against this governor. Like as soon as he came out and he just, laid it bare how little he thinks of these people. I was just very passionately waiting for justice, if there could be any in this movie, and there was, and it was glorious. But they take Molly, which is pretty upsetting. I mean, really graphic too, the way they instead of using the gun to shoot the mother, luckily she does get to survive. They use a giant stick and just smash her head in. I thought she was dead from that.
Yeah, thankfully, that was harrowing. Like because that feels like something that's taken from British history there in India.
Yeah,
like for it to just be like, oh, we're not going to shoot her, but we're just going to bap her over the head with a stick, leaving her bloody. Like that is probably one of the most graphic, kind of rough aspects of the movie.
Yeah, it was a real tonal shift because you went from Rama, who you think is a traitor. He's portrayed that way at the beginning of the movie so that you have someone to root against, but then they don't promote him, so then you find out yeah, the British are actually the bigger bad. And then you see them steal this child and abuse her family. And you see just how bad they are. And yeah, Ray Stevenson and what was the actress's name?
Who played Catherine?
Yeah, Catherine.
I
I
didn't
don't
write it
remember.
down. I'll put it up here again. But
Yeah, yeah. Both of them totally knocked it out of the park. I think I told you, like, they're a little bit cartoonish, but they're almost not evil enough. For like, they did a great job of showing how nasty the British were, but like, I feel like it was kind of cartoonish a little bit later on, but not actually cartoonish. Like, I felt like they could have been nastier.
the government is aware that the Gond are seeking revenge, and we are shown Bheem, the character of Bheem, looking incredibly sexy.
Yes.
In his shirtless state. Bheem is in the jungle, and he is trying to capture various animals. And through a very elaborate process, he manages to catch a tiger. But in doing so, it's possibly one of the more interesting elements of the movie, in that he has to set up a net which breaks, and he has to like flex his muscles in such a way that he has to put together the net, which breaks, and and it ends up getting scratched by the tiger in the process. But that only shows his resolve, and he manages to catch the tiger and put it away. And he's been doing this to several animals. We don't quite know why that's happening, but we will find out later in the movie. But
I need to use you for my purpose, or something like that. I forgot what he says to the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as soon as he said that, as soon as he caught the tiger, I would like, you just knew whatever this payoff will be, it's going to be the most epic thing that I'll want to watch again and again.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely rewound that part a couple times.
Yeah, and so that is a great scene. But then from there, Bheem and Rama go undercover. Bheem is dressed as a Muslim man. He goes by the name Akhtar, as he is looking for the Gone girl Molly in the big city. And I just feel that it's weird that he would go undercover as a Muslim man, given that might demonize other Muslims at the time. Like, oh, we can't trust any of these people, or something like that. Just a minor detail there. But while that is happening, again, the Gone government knows, or the British government knows, that there is a Gond man coming to the city. So they ask for a volunteer to basically go undercover and find this person, and that is Rama, who still wants his promotion and is going to catch this person to find out. And so we see kind of both of those things happening, with Bheem looking for that child, and Rama looking around and then finding somebody who he might be able to ensnare, a shifty looking character who is like, oh, because he goes undercover at like a freedom sort of event, or like a great debate of sorts, and there's a bunch of people talking, and I think he says something like, let's do a revolution, and they're like, yeah, right, no thank you. And so but one of Bheem's friends shows up and is like, are you serious about revolution? We could help you there. And Rama's like, oh, follow me, we can talk about things. And Rama's with his uncle, who we'll see more of later in the see where he comes from later in the movie. But they take this unsuspecting man to the police station, and he's just like, let me pass, and we won't he tells to the station guard, like, let me pass, and I have a prisoner with me. And unfortunately the man is like, oh, thank you for coming, officer, something. The man realizes, what's going on there. And so he runs, and basically he runs throughout the city. Rama gives chase, but he eventually loses him. And at this point, that is where we meet, or like that is where Rama and Bheem meet. And possibly one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which is, you know, you're probably going to hear me say that a lot because I love all the scenes. But
This is when the greatest bromance ever began.
yeah, through a bunch of weird circumstances, the train that is passing through the city and over a bridge starts leaking oil, and a spark happens and it catches fire. And as the train, it kind of explodes and damages a bridge above, there's a child sailing, or like kind of rowing their boat below. Which is like very silly. Like, oh no, this child is in danger. But that like Bheem is nearby. He sees this happening, and Rama sees this happening. Nobody else is really doing anything, but they lock eyes in that moment and raise their fist. Again, another great moment in this movie where they're like, we can both do this. We can help.
Yeah.
And so they grab like a motorcycle and a horse and a rope, tie it to themselves, and then and one of the things I think you're talking about, where like physics don't matter and great things are happening in Indian cinema.
Yes.
They go over separate sides of the bridge. One of them grabs a flag and uses that to kind of douse a lot of the flames, and the other one grabs the child, and they protect the child as the train continues to explode, and everyone is safe. I think Bheem even wraps himself in the flag.
Yeah, he goes into the flames from the oil that's on fire, and he covers himself in the flag. And Rama has gotten the child because Bheem threw the child at him. When they went around, Bheem, when they were going down, Bheem picked up the child, and Rama had the flag. They threw Rama threw the flag, and Bheem threw the child, and then Bheem wraps the flag around him as he's engulfed in flames. And then Rama's like, as he's coming back down, he's really worried, like, oh no, this man who's helped me save this child, who we effortlessly and silently coordinated the most amazing escape from this dangerous situation, he's dead. But then he comes back through the flames, unravels the flag, and they catch each other by the hand. Man.
Yeah, getting at the two kind of elements of this movie, the bombast, the action, but also the maybe not so subtle nationalism at play, because again, he wraps himself in the flag. The flag of India can protect you is I think what the director here, the writers are trying to get.
It's a very nationalist movie, that's for sure. I do want to say though, like this was a really great bromance as well, as I said. I also feel like maybe there's some things I didn't quite pick up on, or maybe I don't know, but I feel like Rama and Bheem are like, once you know Rama's true character, at least, like they're both like fairly positive roles, examples of like masculinity, positive kind of masculinity. Because at least like if we just look at Bheem, for example, I mean, Rama shows the same kind of traits, but like Bheem is a man who takes care of his community. He's open with his feelings to other men. He's very supportive and helping. Rama's very supportive of Bheem, especially to try to connect with Jenny. He seems to think it's like, oh, you like that girl? Yeah. But I think they're pretty, there's nationalism, but there are some other there's some other things that are really nice. Like, they're both like genuinely good guys in the end. At this time, we don't know that Rama is, but
and they're willing to cry. Like,
they cry.
You wouldn't see in American movies, because like the masculine hero doesn't shed a tear unless it's for like the woman that's killed in the movie. At least that's how it's been classically. But here, like they cry a couple times, and they're not viewed as weaker for it. In fact, it makes them seem more manly because they're willing to shed tears for something they love so dear.
Exactly.
You said you love them together, and that's pretty much what the movie shows us next. Like you see their friendship developing, but you also hear, and one of my another favorite element of this movie is the Greek chorus that takes place of like the movie, the the song that plays in the background is basically describing their friendship as it goes along. Like it's saying that this is a great friendship and that we've seen the start of something really beautiful, but at the same time, are things destined to fail given that they're working for opposite ends? Like
Yeah.
it's what you would typically see in like Oedipus Rex or similar Greek plays where the Greek chorus is like, hey, things are not going well right now. Let's be on the lookout for what happens next. So
Yeah, one of them is fire and one of them is water, right? Like one of the R's is in flames and that's Rama's, and Bheem's is covered in water. You see that later when they reconnect finally. It turns into a kind of golden statue or whatever, and you see those colors. But one, I believe in the Greek chorus, one of them is described as fate and the other one is free will. And these other kind of contrasting ideas and like what will happen when they learn each other's true nature. And yeah, okay, so their relationship blossoms. They become very close with each other very quickly.
And then well, sometimes that's how friendships develop, but then from there Bheem notices Jenny and that relationship forms. Rama is a great bro here, and he sets up like opportunities for them to hang out, although their relationship is viewed as very negative because like if they like, because she's British, he's Indian, that's just not allowed. And like through Jenny, Bheem gets to get into the palace where he sees Molly and promises that he will return to her. She's very upset because he has to leave, and that was the sadder aspect of the movie. But from there, like Jenny invites Bheem to what appears to be a wedding, not a wedding, just a
banquet
party. And from there, like one of the party goers is a rude British man, and he's like, those you know British, those Indian dudes, they don't even know how to dance. They're like, they don't know salsa or flamenco. And from there, Natu happens. The Oscar nominated song from the movie, a basically a dance where it's a competitive dance where they're like you know, kick your feet up and keep going for as long as you can. The other party goers join in, and eventually the rude British man like joins, but he doesn't outlast to the end. But at the very end, like given the competitive and like opposite nature of these two characters, it's them. And Rama sees that Bheem wants to, but Rama seems that like Jenny is actually rooting for Bheem, and so he throws the contest, and like that impresses Jenny all the more. But again, like you see what Rama is willing to do for Bheem here.
Because they're just so close with each other, such great friends, totally open with each other, and what an incredible like sequence. I mean, the dance was amazing. I was in awe, shock and awe. Like, I've never seen a dance like that before. I mean, I've had Indian friends, and I've watched a little bit of Indian cinema, but I've never seen anything like that before, or, you know, even seen videos or anything like that, or had my friends talk about these kind of things with me. I was just like, this is incredible. The song is really great too. It was so much fun. I mean, this movie has a like weird tonal shifts. No, they're not weird, but it's just like amazing how many tonal shifts there are, and it still works perfectly. Like it feels natural to go from, you know, the ass kicking that Rama gives to the rioters, and then straight to this tragic scene of Molly, and then, you know, all the other things, and then the saving of the boy, which is great, and the high action bromance forming, and then this amazing number, which is, and where the British guy loses. Just, why am I not watching movies like this more often?
So after the banquet, Rama continues his pursuit, and he manages to locate the person that had escaped him before. And in the process, like he also is looking at photo, or like Bheem knows that he's looking for somebody, but he like they never like like Ram never catches on that the man that he's looking for is Bheem. But when he does catch the person, like he takes him to a warehouse and interrogates him, doesn't really reveal anything. Like Rama goes outside and the man catches the snake. And when he goes back inside, like the snake is deadly. And he manages to get the snake to bite Rama. And like the snake is like it's venomous. This is probably going to be the thing that kills him. And he reveals like the only people who have the cure for this are the Gon tribe. And so Rama is kind of left for dead while Bheem is beginning his preparations for they decide that tonight is the night where they're going to attack the governor's mansion to get Molly. And like as he's walking over to get the truck, he sees Rama in the streets dying because he was bitten by that snake. And he's like, oh, we gotta help him. And from there, like he takes him to a room, gets him the cure, which that helps Rama realize that, oh, this is the man that I've been looking for this entire time.
Well, he sees that tie around his neck that was on the other guy.
That too. And like Rama's reaching out for him as he's dying. And
I'll be like, right back with you.
Lie down, my friend. You'll be perfectly okay. Yeah. And so like Bheem manages to help him, but he's still lying in bed. And then Bheem goes off to attack the governor's mansion. And that's the moment where like, oh no, is this gonna like, how's this going to pop off? How, like, is this friendship going to survive? Probably not, given that we saw Rama, still reaching out for the man he called a great friend, like not even like 5 minutes ago. Like,
But yeah, I mean, the actors are so great that like, even though there was a very short period between the two events, like you still felt like you saw the kind of nastiness of Rama with the way he treated the guy he was interrogating. And you go right to like hating him for that. Once he realizes who Bheem is, then you're like, I don't want to see this guy confront him. It's going to be epic because of everything I've already done, catching the tiger, doing the heroic thing to save the boy, Rama destroying the riot, all that stuff. If they do meet, you're looking forward to it, but you don't want to see it because they're such good bros.
For people out there, if you've seen any clip from this movie besides Not To, it's probably this one where Bheem loads up the truck that he stole full of animals. If you were wondering where those animals were going, this is where they were going. He rams into the governor's mansion, getting to the outside of the mansion while there are party guests there, and he crashes through, releases the animals, and they begin attacking, giving him an opportunity to find Molly. But as he's like fighting off a guard who's been rude to him this entire time, he who shows up? Rama shows up. And
well, before that happens, my favorite part of this whole sequence is that that guy, the British lieutenant who's a total jerk. Bheem is trying to get the key from that guy, and a deer shows up and gores him in the arm, and he's stuck between Bheem and the deer. And then Rama shows up, and it is on from there.
Yeah. From like Bheem, who's been a powerful force this entire time, Rama just shows up and then like somehow like tosses a tire, I believe, at Bheem, and like that knocks him down. And there's a confrontation between these two people. Like Rama's like, I'm here to arrest you, Bheem.
Yeah, and he's like, now dressed in his police outfit.
Yeah, that too. And Bheem's like, I thought we were friends. Who are you? This isn't like you. We're friends here. Very sad moment where Bheem is coming to realize the man that he loves, the man has been a great friend for him, was lying to him this entire time. It's very sad, very emotional, like high stakes moment.
Very well acted too.
Yeah, well acted too. And like there you see like the themes, the motifs of fire and water come into play as Bheem or Rama like grabs some fire to fight Bheem, and Bheem like uses the water from a broken water fountain to fight. and Rama or like Bheem's Rama kicks Bheem's ass pretty heavily here, but luckily Bheem is able to fend him off for the first part of this fight, and he runs up the mansion and manages to get to the top before Rama shows up, and Bheem is within eye view of Molly, and he's gonna like jump and try to get her. Unfortunately, another interesting moment, Rama throws like a rope which manages to catch Bheem, and he's kind of hanging.
It was the rope that was around the religious thing that was around Bheem's neck that he gave to Rama for protection. Which the other guy told him, if you do that, you're going to cause trouble for yourself. And he did.
Yeah, very good catch. Very good catch. And so Rama arrests Bheem, and we see that the governor comes out and points a gun at Molly, and Rama's like, if you don't surrender, the governor is going to kill Molly. Please, for the love of God, surrender. We see that Rama has been promoted, which is great for him, that long-awaited promotion. But we also see that Rama is, again, not who he says he was to the British people. It turns out that Rama, like his father, was a freedom fighter way long back. He used to work for the British governor, at the time, who, as it turns out, delivered that same speech about the bullet when he was executing a prisoner. And because of that, he sort of turned his back on the British people and led a fight with the Indian people. And he teaches Rama how to fire a gun, and Rama proves to be very adept at it. And they're just training everyone. And when suddenly the British people, the British soldiers show up and begin firing upon the village, massacring them all, and getting to one of my favorite aspects of the another one of favorite aspects of the movie. Ram and his father are pinned down, and his father's shooting at many of the soldiers, but they reposition and manage to mortally wound Rama's father. And Rama's father kind of sacrifices himself with a stick of dynamite that Rama shoots and manages to kill the British soldiers who remain. And like it's from there that we learn that Rama promised his people, especially his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know what that woman is to him.
I think it was his wife.
Yeah, he promised that he would infiltrate the British government and acquire a whole lot of guns for their people to engage in a revolution.
Yeah, because his father taught him that, because Rama, he tells him load, aim, shoot, and because Rama is so incredible at everything and awesome, he's able to take out a lot of the British soldiers, so they have to reposition again. Mm-hmm. And then, before Rama's father sacrifices himself, he says, if only one gun can stop them like this, imagine if the whole village or all of our people had weapons. Mm-hmm. And then, he sacrifices himself. They
talk about executing Bheem, but they instead decide to torture him to send a message to the Indian people. And from there, Rama has been tagged for doing this torture, and so as Rama is torturing him with a rope that has spikes attached to it, Bheem sings a song, Komoram Bimudo, I believe it's called. Bheem is singing a song about how he will never give up, never bow before the British people, because that is not in his blood. It is not the way of the Gond people. Very beautiful song, one that I listen to pretty frequently as it's a very hype song. And ultimately, Bheem does not, kneel before the governor, and the governor is very angry. The governor's wife is
governor's wife is pissed. She wants blood.
Yeah,
that scene made me think the governor has been nasty this whole time, but Catherine is the real bloodhound. I mean, she's way more vicious than the governor in some way, who is one of the worst people ever. But his wife is just so much worse because it's like she needs the blood, or she's not satisfied. And she needs to inflict suffering on people just for her own amusement.
His open defiance of the governor and Britain at large angers the Indian people, and so they riot right then and there. Yeah. And a cool shot that happens is Rama carrying a passed out Bheem on his shoulders through this ruckus, through this riot, and like at that point, after they quell the riot for now, but Rama is talking with his uncle, who's in on this whole thing, talking to the talking about Bheem, and he just notes that like this has really inspired me here. I thought this man was nothing, but it turns out that he's the key to inspiring this revolution. And it's such a passionate, beautiful moment. I think Rama cries again, another moment of positive masculinity, and he has that moment of realization and decides to free Bheem. And from there, Ram is like, we should execute Bheem in the countryside so as to not make him a martyr again. But it's clear the governor is kind of mistrustful of Rama at this point because of how bad the torture went, of the public humiliation went. Yeah. So but as Rama is as they're driving to the execution site, Rama's traps are set, and so he manages to free Bheem. But in the process, the governor realizes what's happening and manages to prevent his own death at that point, and he manages to get Rama captured. But luckily, Bheem and Molly are freed at that point. They're allowed to run away, to escape back to the Gone location as long as they can get there, but unfortunately Rama is captured and put in prison. And
then Bheem, soon after, he's in hiding from the government, who's scouring the area, has been scouring for months, it seems like, if I remember right. Haven't been able to find him. Bheem hasn't been able to safely go back to the Gond village that Molly is from, that he's from. But they meet, what was her name? Sithra?
Yeah, they're at a monastery. Sithra, Rama's wife. They meet her, and the British police show up, and they're like, we're trying to find Bheem, and Bheem thinks, oh no, the game is up. And Sithra is like, oh no, don't come in here. There are people with disease, with smallpox. Or something
smallpox,
like that.
Yeah, smallpox.
And
so filthy! Get out of here!
Yeah, so they all leave, and then Sifra and Bheem and his friends have a conversation. It does feel a little too coincidental that she's also there, but so they're having a conversation, and she's like, "Oh, my husband is working against the British government, but he had to go undercover." And Bheem has this very slow realization, and when she reveals who her husband is, he's just like.
Yeah,
it's a great moment.
Yeah, it is a great moment. He also notices her necklace, just kind of like how Rama noticed his to realize who he is. So that was kind of a cool little parallel there. I do agree, though. I kind of feel like the Sithra kind of plot line and character not given enough. It just kind of felt not as strong as the rest of it, but that moment was very good.
Yeah, and it leads to one of my favorite lines in the entire movie, where Bheem has that realization, and he says, "I should have realized what was up. I've been thinking so much of myself. Rama's a good guy. I came for the people. Rama came for the land." And it's just a powerful line right there, where they're so good. They're fighting for the same cause, but Rama's is greater. And so at that point, he decides, I guess I'm going to free Rama from prison. He breaks into the prison, is knocking on the ground to find the specific hole that Rama's been put in. And he he frees him. But Rama's legs have been smashed because of the torture from the British soldiers.
Yeah.
But he's really toned, and he has like a cool beard to indicate that he's serving his time and not really surrendering to the British people in that time. And they manage an excellent prison break, which of course defies all laws of physics and seems quite impossible.
Like you do when you're escaping prison.
They manage to escape, and then they head into the forest where like they heal up Rama, and in the process Rama manages to acquire a cool looking bow and arrow, and Bheem prepares to fight on his end. Unfortunately, the entirety of the British forces in India, it seems, have entered into the forest in an effort to find both Rama and Bheem.
Well, unfortunately for Rama and Bheem, fortunately for the viewer, because of what transpires next.
And anyway, you see this massive forest fight, this massive battle between these two people and Rama, or like Rama and or like these two people and the British forces. Where like at one point, like there's a huge fire and Rama's there just shooting arrows at people, and like this cool music plays in the background. Again, this entire music in this movie is phenomenal, but the music in this scene right here, top notch.
Perfect. This was I think the most incredible action scene, even more so than the banquet fight. Even though the banquet fight starts off with the coolest thing I've ever seen in a film. I just felt like this whole thing, this was like the true revenge part of the film. Like we're seeing all these soldiers go down, and we get to see the governor beg for his life. But nope, sorry to say, Mr. Governor, but you're going down too in glorious fashion. I might add.
Yeah, like some interesting things that happens. Like Bheem climbs out of the water and proceeds to kill a bunch of people. He uses a motorcycle as a weapon. Again, the bombast on display here of just like this larger than life kind of physically impossible stuff that happens that Indian cinema is known for, especially their action movies. And like they proceed to break through and kill the person who was kind of like an underling who was responsible for all of that. And at that point, they then set their sights on the governor's mansion, because somehow it was also right next to this forest this entire time. And they launch a motorcycle, I believe, into the governor's mansion, but in a specific way that it doesn't hit the governor, but it goes inside the ammo room filled with all the dynamite and whatnot. And the motorcycle explodes and proceeds to topple most of this mansion of sorts, and like it kills Catherine. Like she dies in a pretty gruesome way.
Wonderful.
And
well deserved.
And there's this confrontation between the governor and Bheem and Rama. Particularly ending with that speech of do you know how this gun was made, and load, aim, shoot, and they managed to kill the governor, and that's pretty much the conclusion of the main arc of the movie. Pretty bombastic, as I said before, very well written, just very satisfactory in terms of these two great friends working together against the British government.
Totally satisfying. But of course, at the end, we also see Molly return to her family. And then there's yet another really great musical number and dance. Oh,
there's also a scene where basically Bheem tells Rama, like, can you teach my people now? Can you teach us how to do revolution and all of that? So kind of a meeting of minds, and they're pledging to basically end British rule in India, which wouldn't happen because this movie takes place in the 1920s. It wouldn't happen for another 20 years.
Yeah. Well, it's, I guess, like the start of things, right?
Yeah. The insurrection has has been moving forward. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, the extremely nationalistic dance number at the end.
Very like
Where
don't bow to your oppressors and that kind of stuff.
you see a bunch of pictures of Indian heroes from all around India, showing a united India. Again, probably something that the movie industry, as well as the politicians like Modi, would really like people to believe. And seeing that all of these people are one. But what's also interesting is Ginny's actress shows up and starts dancing.
Yeah,
right. It feels like, hey, look, we have this woman who's like British. She's on our side now.
Yeah,
And they're like,
that was
like throughout the movie, you see like Ginny, like at the end, like she gives Bheem the coordinates to the prison. Like she helps Bheem break in. So she's one of the good colonizers who
but she's not really that good. I mean, she's like definitely the best of them, if you can call a colonizer a best of them. But like, I mean, what I wanted to know what you thought of Jenny as a whole.
Jenny is a fun character. I feel like she's not as developed as she could be.
Sure.
But I it's kind of a blink in a moment, or blink and you miss it moment at the end, where like she gives Bheem the coordinates, and it's like that kind of fundamentally changes things, because now instead of just a friend, she's a sympathizer for the revolutionary cause. And I don't quite think that the character that we've been presented with Jenny would do that. But maybe
she was just nice to Bheem and really liked him. But at the same time, she was perfectly okay with Molly being imprisoned in her home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, am I supposed to like her?
Bheem is so hot that you're willing to do treason.
Yeah. So it's not out of morals. It's out of hormones that she has. I mean, she's not wrong. The thing I wanted to say in cinema, incredible action, incredible bromance. I thought the see-through part was a little bit weak, but I loved everything else. The thing I wanted to say about like Chinese films, like while I was watching this, Catherine and the actress for Catherine and Ray Stevenson, and Jenny too, when she is in there. Jenny's pretty good. And the other like white British actors who have a moment to speak, even though they're very bit parts, they're like quite good actors. Most of them are nasty and terrible, cartoonishly so in some parts, but almost not nasty enough, but still believably terrible. But they're all like really great actors. I've seen so many Chinese films that are very nationalist as well, that have like some kind of American character, like or maybe even a British character sometimes, usually American, and usually the person playing the American is not American. Like or they're like Dutch or South African or something, and they're not usually a good actor. I don't know why that
I love being an American.
Yeah. I mean, they're always like also the best part of the movie because they're just so over the top. I'm thinking particularly of there was a movie about the Korean War that came out a few years ago. There were two of them. I can't think of it, but the guy who plays General Douglas MacArthur, absolutely the best part of the movie and completely horrendous.
Again, I'm going to reiterate the things that I love about this. The action, it's some of the best action I've ever seen in any movie, period. The acting, especially by Ram Charan and N.T. Ramarao Jr., who played Bheem and Rama, respectively. Perfect. No notes. It's great writing, like great pacing of the movie, all wonderful. The things that I don't like, of course, Jenny, like her arc is kind of bizarre. The tonal shifts at times feels kind of unusual, but like not enough to really sink the movie. And the nationalism on display here, like every movie is a product of the culture in which it exists. But like, because like in America you have Captain America and the Marvel movies, and like this is what Americans believe, and the nationalism in American movies sometimes feels very racist, and especially in those mid 2000s movies about terrorism in the Middle East. But with Indian movies, this doesn't feel so nationalistic, more as a more like, I'm sure there are some out there, but like for here, the nationalism is more, we are talking about a moment in our history that was not so good, and we're painting the British as the villains because they were actually villains. So we're celebrating where we come from, the people who we are. It does sort of paint like a warrior spirit, which is again a little bit problematic, but you'll probably find that with a lot of movies that are reflective of the culture in which they exist. So, but like, yeah, that's just a minor problem in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so yeah, Lucas, it appears that we've come to the end of our RRR discussion. Seems we both loved it. A lot worth discussing here. Probably not as well, probably not as like overarching as like an Autumn Sonata type movie, but still very, very good. But yeah, so I do recall that it is next month. It is your turn to tell me what movie we're watching. But you've held off for now, and haven't given me any clue about what we're watching. So now is your chance to tell me.
Well, I have been thinking RRR was incredible, but I need to watch a shorter film. That way we can have a more succinct discussion, or if not succinct, then we can have at least a more in-depth discussion about certain scenes and cool themes or whatever. And lately I've been into science fiction, and I've been between two movies. I think I will hold off on the one that came to me recently, because I don't want to make my fandom of that series movie. I don't want to push it on you just yet. And it's a little bit longer than the other suggestion that I have, which is a Japanese animation that questions what it means to be human. And that would be the fantastic film Ghost in the Shell.
So I look forward to discussing that movie with you next month. But yeah, if anyone out there has any comments about RRR or a discussion of it, say something below. We would both love to hear your thoughts on that. This also might show up on Lucas's channel. The last one did not.
I was so busy, I didn't have time to edit it. I don't think I will do this one either because it's extremely long.
Okay. Well, I
will do Ghost in the Shell for sure, though, because I want to make a video the way I've been about that movie. But I'll wait till I'll put the discussion too. But yeah, anyway, continue what you were saying.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to both of our channels. His will be in the comments below. And also join the Discord. Lucas posts there from time to time, but we also talk about books and movies and all kinds of fun things. But until then, we wish you the best of luck in your weird and bombastic travels. Farewell.
Farewell.